Reg would have found that very funny that there's a load of English people here having to be quiet and sensible and silent while Flower of Scotland is being played. The irony is he wasn't born in Scotland, so all those years of abuse he gave us, I didn't know that. Dearly beloved brothers and sisters, we are gathered today for this group therapy session to get rid of all the scars and pain we have suffered at the hands and mouth of Reg. I'm privileged to call him a friend, though I haven't seen him for many years, and as many of us actually feel, what a tragedy. What can we say? Nothing we can do can change that. My time with Reg is spent playing for W Division, though I'm not a copper. He had a lot of ringers over his time. He was at Kennington at the time as well, and he would regularly rail at me about religion. So I'm not going to impose any religion on him today. If I say a prayer, it's not because Reg would necessarily want that. He would like me to say a prayer so he could complain about it afterwards. It was my privilege to do his wife's funeral some years ago, and he was really happy for me to do that, and I was very happy to do that myself. I am going to say a prayer to open because that's my belief, and it does give Reg the chance to complain about me. He will say something about the dress I'm wearing. I think the word tart would be involved. There may be a few other words in addition to that. So I'm going to say a prayer. Father, as we gather together, may we be joyful about having known Reg. May we be sad to have lost him, and sad to have lost him in the circumstances. We pray that you would help us as we mourn, as we grieve the loss of our friend, of our colleague, of someone we played rugby with, we spent time with, we worked with. So bless us as we remember now. Give strength to those who will lead us in the memories that can be told, and help us as we share those memories that can't be told in public afterwards. Bless us, we pray. Amen. Amen. So we're going to start. I first thought that John was Reg's boss, and so I was going to say to the man who had the most difficult job in policing, being in charge of Reg Field. But it turns out Chief Constable John Boucher, John worked for Reg at Kennington. So John, come forward and let us know your thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you. So Reg will be shouting at me now because I've got a script. It'll really piss him off. But anyway, good afternoon everybody. I've been given the honour, and it is an honour, of saying a few words by way of an appreciation of this great man, a colleague and a friend of Reg Field. I'd like to begin by thanking everybody who's come here today, especially those who can't put their shoes on tomorrow. They played a game out there today with an odd-shaped ball in the memory of Reg Field, and did it very well, by the way. I should have taken up rugby, I'd be brilliant. In many ways, this would be, for most people, a terribly sad day, but with the stories you're going to no doubt talk about with one another, and what you're going to hear today from other people who knew Reg so well, I suggest it's not a sad day. It's a day to remember what's good about life and what's good about people, and particularly have the funniest and fondest memories of this incredible man. My thoughts of Reg, and I say this slightly nervously, I remember on a Friday people would say, JB, avoid Reg, he's after you. Because Simon Quartermain had broken a toenail or something. And they couldn't play rugby down here. So Reg would be after me. And to be fair, anybody would do. Because everyone was always crying off. But I avoided his grasp because I played a far more sophisticated and skillful game with the round ball. But thoughts of Reg take me to laughing so much I did cry with what his antics and the chaos and confusion he caused in many a bar around South London, where I'm not sure if we rescued him or if he rescued us. I recall as a brand new detective, I arrived at Kennington and the DI, by the way, I went to Kennington, I asked for Kensington. So did I! So first night duty CID, and I turn up and there's a note from my DI who I'm keen to impress, and I like him. He's a character. Anyway, he tells me there's been a serious assault at a bar in Vauxhall. I should have seen that clue, but I did not. And he said, you need to go down there, JB, and find out if there's any witnesses to what has happened. So I thought, this is good, I can impress the DI with the new DC, doing a bit of good work. So I go down there, very keen, armed with a clipboard and a picture in my suit, not in uniform, because I'm a new DC. Anyway, as I walked through the entrance with the bouncers, I just sensed something wasn't quite right. And this man, bearded man, in a dress, was paying quite a lot of attention to me as I tried to get to the bar. I then met the manager, who was a lovely man as well, very lovely man, who shooed the DJ at the end of the bar to shut the music off and put all the lights on. He handed me a microphone he handed me, not anything else. And I saw the entire club lit up, and you have never seen so many men desperately try to get out of various holds and embraces as quickly as they could in all your life. It was like a scene out of the Blue Oyster Bar in Police Academy. I stood utterly speechless, mainly at seeing, for those of you who know, Pete Hardy in there. Needless to say, I stumbled my way through asking for any witness to an assault that clearly had never, ever happened. And I knew at that point that Reg Field was somewhere, possibly down here, having a beer, checking his watch, thinking, about now, he will be making such a prat of himself. But it was a privilege to know him, and it was an education for me with regards to Reg ways. He really was such a decent guy. He never forgot why we were here as cops, if I dare say that. We're here to get the bad guys, to protect people, and to get the job done. He made sure that we did what we were paid to do in an uncompromising but a fair way. He was the heart of whatever place or organisation he was. He would look at me now, standing here, and say, get the off there. Stop looking at that strange iPad. Well, I have two reflections before I do that. First, whilst working with Reg, and you are a product of the people that you work with and what they do for you. I had some personal challenges in my life. My wife was suffering from postnatal depression. And I was trying to run around at 100 miles an hour and do the job that we all love. He recognised something was wrong when nobody else did, nobody. And he gave me the time and space to support my family without me feeling that I was letting anybody down, at least of all him. Didn't happen for very long, but he looked after me. He was perceptive, he knew his people, and he rarely missed anything. We talk about leadership these days in a way that suggests you can learn it from a book. That, frankly, is absolute nonsense. You learn to be a leader by watching and listening to the Reg Fields of this world, of which, tragically, there are very few. I learnt a huge amount from the serious Reg, but I also learnt a huge amount from the reckless Reg. In a time when policing needs real leadership, there's a tragic absence of personality strength and a willingness to say things as they are. Reg epitomised all of this. He was a true leader. A real person, not a cardboard cutout, someone who spoke with uncompromising honesty. He taught us all so much, including, importantly, not to take yourself too seriously and to laugh at yourself. Goodness, we could do with inspiration, his charisma and his antics in policing today. Yeah. Finally, I will confess to being more than a little sad and shedding a tear when I read of his passing and his recent years in Spain. I was alone in my office when I read of his passing, having lost contact with him many years ago. I never forgot him, how could we? With others, he shaped me and taught me to stand up for what's right and not to compromise my values, who I am or what I want to do. Now, today, I actually feel I let him down by not staying in touch. So a last lesson from Reg for me and for all of us. Today there are many old faces here, and I suspect many of us have lost touch in the same way as we did with him. I think Reg in his own way is still telling me what to do, still teaching me how to behave, and I suggest we don't miss this chance to reconnect with each other and make plans to meet up again and cherish the things we once did together. Thank you for being you, Reg, for making a difference to each and every one of us here. You were mad. Absolutely mad. But when I say mad, you made a difference. For being a mentor, a friend, and above all, for being different. You're a different class. Thank you.
Spencer. Yeah, all right. So thank you, John. So a few words about Reg. First of all, similar to John, I worked with Reg at Kennington Police Station as a young DC. Reg was my boss, and as John said, what a character. Lots of adventures, lots of stories. I wrote many of them down, but they went through the Old County Censorship Committee. Now I'm just down on one page. I snuck a few in though, so it is funny, just to reiterate what John said, you know, we kind of had birth, life and death. And it's funny that most of the truth comes out after death, which is kind of sad, right? And all the things that we want to say to Reg, we can't say to him now, but I know he's in that little urn there, kind of. I keep expecting the lid to pop up in a minute. For Reg to throw his teeth out. So bring it on. What a character. But here we are, after his passing, able finally to kind of say how we feel. As I say, I worked at Kennington. We all worked together with Shirley as well, who, you know, he married and tragically passed away way too early. So Reg had his shares of ups and downs, but he gave a lot to the world, and although we're sad that he left, you know, I think we can be joyous about the memories that he gave us over the period of time that we knew him. He was certainly a man of paradoxes, so that's a theme with everyone that I spoke to, just wonderful joy and generosity, and then at the other end, the crazy, raging Reg. There was just as much fun, actually. It was just a different side to him, usually at the back end of 3 or 4 bottles of vino, but a real character. I kind of think of him, he's a bit like the thinking man's Jack Regan. And he knew about his career. And actually, I only found out he's a plastic jock, so he's not even really Scottish. But so he's English, and his dad was a Royal Marine, I think, which makes him even more like attached to our good Queen. So, but yeah, I think he was an academic. If you worked with him and saw the quality of his writing and report writing, it was absolutely incredible. And many Queen's Counsel and barristers and counsel would take credit for the work that he did and put their own name to it. It was that high quality. So a real academic, and I understand he was the youngest DI of his era as well, so he was on a trajectory right to the very top. The problem is Reg just couldn't keep that shut, And he had this irreverent regard for incompetent authority, which surrounded us all at the time.
Still does.
Yeah, it still does. And, Reg had an early form of Tourette's before his diagnosed. And used the F-bomb more than was clinically diagnosed at the time. He's also a man, as I said, of paradoxes that could rage love and rage war, you know, and you never knew which way it was going. If it was war, his teeth would come out, you know that was coming. If it was love, something else would come out. Sometimes both happened at the same time. You didn't really know what was going to happen. Yeah, and he could line up an incredible array of expletives in one sentence. He was a man that believed in social justice, not in criminal justice. So he was a man that felt that the justice system and everything that was wrapped around it was basically broken. But for social justice and doing right and investigating crimes and supporting victims of crime, he was just incredible to watch. He also taught me in my career that you take people on face value, and it doesn't matter what they've alleged that they've done or you know what you've got to do in terms of prosecuting them. 99.9% of people have been through a series of circumstances that led them to do what they did. And he taught me that, and he taught me to show empathy, not only for victims of crimes, but for people that perpetrated those crimes. He also taught me that there is that 1% that's just basically evil, and you've got to lock them up. But he was incredible. He was also, I don't know if you know, he thought of himself as a bit of a surgeon, a bit of a doctor. So when he was out on the field playing rugby, if you ever got your teeth knocked out, and we did actually have, Simon reminded me, we had a really extremely handsome police officer at Kennington called Bruce Sheriff. I don't think he's here, 6'3", I think he's a barrister now. Yeah, quite gorgeous looking, square jaw. I mean, an incredible looking guy. Reg press gamed in a rugby, I think it was his first game, gets his 3 front teeth knocked out, and the guy's about to walk off the pitch, and Reg says, no, come back, picks up his teeth out of the mud and actually forces them back in his gums. Says they'd be fine, and we didn't have another second row to carry on playing. Reg said he was an orthodontist, so you should trust him. A week later, the teeth went black and dropped out. That was the kind of guy he was. Another occasion, I did witness him flush Simon Quartermain's head down the toilet at the back there.
Nothing wrong with that.
That was just before we crucified Simon Quartermain. That was also justified. And then the famous Florence tour. So I think we've got some guests from Florence, and he gave us 2 incredible tours to Florence. He was the captain of our Kennington rugby team. He came on tour with us. He was just an amazing guy on the rugby pitch, an amazing leader, and encouraged us all to find the best in ourselves. The shenanigans that went on in Florence were usually led by Reg, and they were harmless, but he was always at the centre of everything. Reg was a fearless, uncompromising man, as I said, an intellect, but incredibly private. And it took a while to get to know Reg. And behind that gnarly, rough, tough exterior was this big, soft teddy bear behind it. And we all remember that. And as I said, when you saw him deal with rape victims, that he'd then get them to a place where they feel they could speak up and feel safe, secure. Reg was that man you want in there doing that and getting the witness evidence that would put these bad people behind bars. He showed incredible fairness. He was a consummate professional, an incredible detective, but as I say, soft-hearted. So I would just say, you know, good night, good friend Reg. I know you're in a brighter place, and I look forward to saying good morning to you another time. So thank you, Reg, for everything you've done.
I was youth worker in Vauxhall at the time, and actually I had a coach which I used to take the kids on outings with, and Walcountians would often take the pint mug round when I was driving the coach for Walcountians, and I had more than enough money that would help me subsidise that. And one of the things I did was I took Reg and a load of colleagues, no idea, can't remember, to France for the day, and I can't even remember whether it's Calais or Boulogne, but we went to the supermarkets and got the duty frees in, and then we spent 13 hours in a restaurant, just in this one restaurant. It was about 15 or 20 courses, just kept coming, and it was a fantastic day with Reg. But the money that they gave me for doing that paid for the kids in Vauxhall, which was within the Kennington patch.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so generous-hearted to a fault almost. Yeah. Time you joined in. Sorry to the French and Spanish, but we're going to sing Jerusalem. So there's a bar of introduction, and then we come in with "and did those feet." Let's try and get it right first time. It will be hard, but just let's get it going. Okay. Louder. Here we go. And did those feet in ancient times walk up on England's mountains free? And was the Holy Lamb of God on England's pleasant pastures seen? And did the countenance divine shine forth upon the crowded hills? And was Jerusalem builded in among those tops of tanning mills? Bring me my bowl of burning gold. Bring me my arrows of desire. Bring me my spear, oh thou unfold. Bring me my chariots of fire. I will not cease from mental fight, nor shall my sword sleep in my hand, till we have built Jerusalem in England's green and pleasant land. Well done, everybody. Well done. Before Dave comes on, I'm definitely getting too hot. This is coming on.
I'm used to this.